Is the new Bleu De Chanel Exclusive the best bleu yet? Keep on watching to find out. This is for a review and it's not a first impression. My husband has been wearing this for a few days, and just to add to a bit of my expertise, I'm a big Bleu De Chanel fan. I've got all 3 other versions, so now I've got all 4 versions, so I can also share with you a bit of how L'Exclusive compares to the other ones. First up, let's start with the bottle. This bottle is quite different from the other ones where the profile is quite thin. This one is a blocky one. To be honest, I would prefer the same bottle, but they do what they want to do. They've got the same magnetic cap and the same kind of golden Chanel logo at the top as the Parfum version has. The other 2 have got the white Chanel logo on top. That is just for little info because we'll do a videography of the bottle so that when eventually fakes will come onto the market, you can actually have a look at our real bottle and compare it if you're doubting if yours is the genuine version. But overall, I always recommend to buy Chanel, especially only from Chanel online website where you can get extra samples. And if you order now, you'll get, like with your L'Exclusive, a sample so you can try it before you open the full bottle, and that just guarantees that you get the real deal because there's so many fakes out there. The atomizer, very nice, and actually it's a bit nicer than the other ones, a bit more fine, so I appreciate that. The scent itself, my first impressions were that it's much more dark and deep and dense than the other versions. And straight off the bat, you don't get that typical super lemony opening, which you get with the other versions, which I kind of missed a little bit because I think that is essentially what Bleu De Chanel is to me. That opening is what draws me in. But nevertheless, this fragrance is very attractive smelling off the bat. I was like, okay, let me give this one a chance. You get a bit of that citrus, but here the citrus is a bit more, I would say, citrus / orange, like an orange juice, and it's quite sugary and sweet compared to the other ones. So you get that, and the citruses are there throughout the longevity of the fragrance. You also get a lot of those ambery woody notes straight off the bat. They're quite intense, and especially when I sprayed it on my skin, I was like, whoa, because they are so persistent and so strong. You're like, okay, let this settle down a bit. So if you're trying this on your skin, let it settle down for a good 20 minutes before judging it, because that opening, you get all the base notes pretty much so strong straight off the bat. On Fragrantica, we've got amber, woody notes, labdanum, I can never pronounce that fragrance note, and sandalwood. Sandalwood in here, it's not coconutty at all. It's very dry and woody. The amber is very persistent and strong, but I'm surprised I don't see in the notes this orangey, sugary, syrupy note, because it's definitely here. To me, it felt like they took the Bleu De Chanel Parfum, the base notes, and they just put them in this one, and you get mainly that dry down. But overall, the exclusive version, it is much sweeter than the Parfum version. So if you're a fan of those woody, masculine fragrances, but you like a bit of sweetness in your cologne, you might really like the new Exclusive, because I would say it's the most sweet out of the whole lineup. In terms of longevity is really good. I smelled it on my husband all day long. I would say that this is like an 8 to 10 hour longevity fragrance. Sometimes you might even get a bit more. Now it's quite warm here in the UK, but I think in the winter time, this can last a bit longer, but I'll let you know probably in the videos. So subscribe if you haven't already, because I'll be continually testing it into the colder season. In terms of projection, this is a very interesting one, and I would say that is why I often don't do first impressions, and I like to properly test a fragrance, because with this one, it's so strong right off the bat that you think like, oh my gosh, projection will be insane. And for the first, I would say 2 hours, the projection is, I would say, moderately strong. But my husband, for example, he wore this and he said, oh my gosh, the sillage, the projection must be really strong on this one, because he smelt it around himself quite strongly. But when I tried to smell him and when I was around him, I couldn't smell this fragrance so much. I really had to get probably this close to him to really smell him, and to like really smell him, I would have to hug him. So this fragrance is a bit of an odd one, because if you're wearing it, you yourself will be able to smell yourself quite a lot and enjoy the smell, but others around you, they would have to be quite close for them to really appreciate your smell and perhaps compliment it. So to me, this is more of a closer encounter fragrance. It's not as powerful and not as compliment getting. Definitely it won't be as compliment getting as the Parfum or the Eau de Parfum or even the Eau de Toilette, because it just doesn't have that power in terms of how far it projects off your body, because perhaps it just doesn't have those citrusy strong opening notes and that ambroxan that a lot of the other ones have, that makes the fragrance just pop off your skin a bit more. So for example, how I judge a good sillage fragrance is that if my husband walks into a room, does something, not even close to me, but does something and leaves the room, if I can still smell the fragrance in the air, that is good sillage, because it lingers. It's, you know, he has to just move around and he leaves that scent around. This one, he walked in a couple of times. I was thinking, can I smell? I couldn't smell anything. No joke, just nothing at all. I really had to get close to him, and on a hotter summer's day, the sillage was even worse. So it was like very close skin projection. So I think the colder it gets, the better sillage gets, but it will never be a strong sillage that I know many of you and I actually love on the Parfum or the Eau de Parfum. Eau de Parfum has the best sillage in my opinion, and it really lingers. My husband will walk into a room and I'm like, wow, this smells amazing, I'm in love, you know? That sort of effect, you won't get that with L'Exclusive. However, where this fragrance really shines is the dry down, is how comforting and spicy and still very sexy it smells like. So if you want a fragrance, for example, for work, you don't want everybody to smell you. You don't want to be too invasive in your co-worker spaces. If you like that more understated cologne that you can smell, but others like have to get a bit closer to you, I think Bleu De Chanel Exclusive will be perfect for you. Or equally, if you love your thicker, denser, woodier, ambery fragrances, that you just love those like sweeter colognes, then you'll definitely enjoy L'Exclusive the most, and it truly settles down on the skin beautifully. It smells so smooth and just really addictive. So I love the smell. I just wish it projected more, because as a woman, like, I want to be able to smell my man. So I would say if you are going to buy L'Exclusive, I would say mix it with Bleu de Chanel. Then you get the best of both worlds, and probably many of you own one of the other bleus. Mix it and then you get really intense, deep and dense fragrance, really luxurious smelling from the L'Exclusive, but you get more of that projection and sillage. That's what I would recommend personally if you're going to go for like a projecting fragrance. But if you're wearing the fragrance just for yourself, L'Exclusive is an excellent option and gives you just that variety in the lineup. So is the new Bleu de Chanel the best one yet? For me, it's not the best one yet. For me, the best one is still Bleu de Chanel Parfum. This is my favorite at the moment. I just love a bit more of a fresh opening in a fragrance, more of that lemon zest. But I still love the L'Exclusive version. I'll definitely recommend it, especially in the upcoming fall and winter lists. I love the smell, but the Parfum has got, you know, a bit more of everything I want in a men's fragrance. And we're just really being picky here, because overall, all of these fragrances are absolutely amazing. They're sexy. They're just, the smell itself, it's one of the most popular fragrances in the world. It's one of the best sellers, so you can't go wrong with any version of Bleu De Chanel. Let me know if you've tried the new Bleu. What are your thoughts? Is this your new favorite, or do you think the other ones are more it? If you wear the exclusive version, let me know also if you get compliments for it or not, like how are other people perceiving it. We would love to hear from you as well, because people watching this video will want like a great review from all of us as well. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. I'll link to the Chanel website in the description so you can order it and perhaps have a sample and try it out to see if you like it. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!